Bianca and I am back. I am back, you guys. Okay, please forgive me. I'm sorry. It took me so long to make a video about my first year. It has been a crazy year, okay? It has been a crazy emotional year for me. It's been a lot. So we're about to jump into it. Disclaimer number one, I am not speaking. This video or any video of from my page does not sponsor, or is not sponsored by the Air Force. I'm not speaking for the United States Air Force. I'm not also speaking for the any nurse organization or nursing in general. This is just my personal opinion about what I've been through, and just tips to help you guys as you transition over. I know a lot of my followers, I've had a lot of you guys write me on Instagram, and like, again, I apologize if I haven't been as swifty with the replies. You guys, please know that I too am trying to adjust. I am not the best YouTuber at all. I come on when I come on, and I know you guys expect me to do more, and I want to do more. It's just, it has to be at the right time for me. So yes, we're gonna dive right into my first year as a nurse. Top 10 lessons I have learned in my first year in nursing and also in the military. So I just want to start with this first little brief summary and just let you guys know like where I've been, what I've been doing, before I get into the 10 lessons that I have personally learned. My first year as a nurse it was pretty rough. I'm just gonna say that. That's why it took me so long to come on here and talk to you guys and give you guys my honest truth about things, because as you guys know, for the past 7 years I have been talking you guys through what I've been through, whether it was from enlisted to an officer, well, for majority of my time enlisted. So I know a lot of you guys are like wondering, okay, well, she got us through NECP, she got us through COT, what about the first year? So it took me a while to post a video because I went through my own like growing pains. And when I'm gonna make a video on when you're a nurse in the Air Force, you are a nurse and you are an officer. So that will be a completely separate video, because right now I'm just gonna talk about my top 10 that I've learned in nursing while being in the Air Force. But I will make a separate video about that, because I want you guys, everybody that's getting ready to make that transition over to from NTP, or make that transition from enlisted to nursing school, and you're wondering like, okay, when I get done with school, what's next? Everybody's experience will be different, okay? I was sent to a base where the hospital was in a very confusing time, where sometimes the patient census, meaning how many patients we would have as nurses, would be 0. Sometimes for 3 nights in a row, I would have 0 patients. As a brand new nurse and a former med tech who, I came from another base, hitting the ground running. I did my nurse training in San Antonio, and they always see patients there. Coming to a base where everything's kind of slow, it really took a toll on me, because I am like a go-getter. I want to save lives. I want to save lives and heal people and do what I learned in nursing. So when I got to this new base, it was very challenging for me to not really have much to do. I felt like I was losing a lot of my skills. And where there's boredom, sometimes there is, toxicity, there's pettiness, there's nurse drama. So I can't really, speak too detailed in that, but I've always kept in my head this saying, an idle mind is a devil's playground. So that was like the main thing for this year. So we will get more into that. Like I said, I don't want to just sound like everything was just horrible, because we're gonna get into how I made things better for myself. But I also wanted to come here and let you guys know, like, everything wasn't sugar and sweet and candies and butterflies and roses. Like, I literally learned a lot mentally and physically. I mean, I hit a mental breakdown this year. Like, it was a lot. So for me to, you know, post a video while I'm going through things such as what I just described was very, it wasn't very smart, because you don't want to say the wrong thing because you're angry, or you don't want to, you know, bad talk somebody and then you get fired, or the Air Force, you know. So I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to wait until I was in a sound, spiritual, I'm like, you know, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional. I wanted to make sure I was whole so I can give you guys my facts and not just speaking out of anger or hurt from what I dealt with this year. So here we go. Okay, we're back. All right, these lessons aren't in any type of order as far as like what's number 1 and what's number 2. They are just, you know, a list of what I learned and how. They're just a list of what I've learned, and I just wrote them down. So just say number 1 is not like the main one. It's just a list. So number 1, set boundaries. Okay, set boundaries. As a new nurse or anybody that's new, going into a new situation with new people, a new job, that's anywhere. But speaking from my perspective, set boundaries. Do not tolerate bullying towards yourself or anybody else. Okay, you have 3 types of people. Okay, you have the ones that's doing the bullying. Well, you may have more than that. So you have a group of people, right? You have the one that's getting bullied, the bulliers, the bystanders, and then the ones that participate in the bullying, and then the ones that actually speak up. And you create the energy that you want. Okay, so without getting into too many details, my first year, like I said, you don't have a lot of patience. So things can kind of get idle. And so you see things, you know, unprofessional behavior, or you'll see, you know, nurse bullying, or whatever the case may be. Whatever you see, you set boundaries for yourself. Okay, so if you see something that you don't like, I'm a huge advocate for any type of bullying. I don't care if it's nurse bullying, school bullying, janitor bullying, I don't care, doctor on doctor bullying, I don't care. I do not stand for anybody getting treated less than a person. So set boundaries. Okay, if you don't want to be a part of it, walk away, report it, and do whatever you need to do and go from there. Okay, so, and another way you can set boundaries as far as nursing, because a lot of my lists are about, it can help in nursing if you had the type of year I've had, but they're not really like, oh, make sure you do your report sheet or do that, because I'm not quite there yet. My first years nursing have been more about intrapersonal relationships, and yeah, I wish it was more patient care, but it wasn't. So I'm just giving you guys my rundown. Set boundaries. Always, you know, report it, regardless of if you feel like someone is like gonna bully you or take it out on you or whatever. Just don't be a crowd pleaser. Like, I hope everybody that's following my page can just get a little oomph of me. You know, that's all I want, because that's all I want. Because you will encounter a lot of things. Nobody's the same in this entire world. Okay, so when you go to different bases, you will encounter different people, different cultures, different things. And for example, the culture I came from was not the culture I got or that I'm in. So it's up to me to adjust, but it's also up to me to, you know, if we have standards in the Air Force, if we have standards, you know, no bullying, unprofessionalism, and just a moral thing, you know, just for me, you know, the Air Force standards and core values are very they coexist with my everyday life, you know. So if you see something like that, just report it. You know, a lot of hospitals that I have trained in, and we will get to that, you know, you may have drama or whatever, but it wasn't as bad as when you don't have anything to do. When you don't have a lot of things to do, a lot of negative stuff can happen, and there we were. So number 1, set boundaries. Number 2, protect your energy at all costs, okay? All costs. So I firmly believe that I am a healer, and I'm just being honest. Like, I became a nurse because I want to heal people. When I see something that's broken or needs to be fixed, I just want to heal them and fix them, and you know, and I basically learned that I'm an empath. So this year I learned an empath, or what empath means, and it's basically like you can take on the energy or the vibe of other people. So I can walk into a room and kind of, or I can talk to someone and I can kind of feel the vibe. And it's a thin line between, you know, feeling the vibe and being judgmental. So I make sure I give everybody a fair chance, but sometimes people just have an energy around them, and you can, if you can feel energy, or you can, if you're an empath, you know what I'm talking about. But I learned this year I am an empath. So but what I wish I would have known at the beginning was that one, that I was an empath, and 2, that I could easily be sucked dry. So that's with anybody. That's with patients. That's with, you know, if you have a patient that just needs things all the time, or, you know, or just, you just want to help them, but you feel like nothing you're doing is helping them, you can literally get sucked dry. You know, if you have a patient that, you know, that's just very physically and emotionally demanding, sometimes you have to say, hey, Charge, can I switch out because I can't deal with this patient today? And it's nothing, that doesn't make you a bad nurse. That just means you can't give them the full nursing experience that you want to give them, that quality of care, because you feel drained. But in this sense, what I'm also talking about is just protecting yourself from negative people, from negative energy. You know, if there's someone around you that's just always negative, or always talking about somebody, or whatever the case may be, separate yourself, move, you know, and that's okay. You don't have to be rude about it. You can say, hey, you know, I just want to go this way. Now, granted, that can happen, and someone, you know, they may not like it, but you have to protect yourself. And I wish that was something that I knew earlier in 2019. And along with protecting your energy, also, you know, I've heard people tell me all the time, pick your battles. And I could not stand that. Pick your battles? No. If that person is wrong, that person is wrong. We're gonna set the whole thing on fire. It's wrong. But it's nothing wrong, and this is just coming from experience. If you can take anything from this video, just know that I'm telling you guys this from experience. A hard year of learning this. So if I, like anything with my videos, if I can give you something to make your life easier in this next transition, take it, please, okay? So protect your energy and pick your battles smartly, because for me, I'm a fighter, right? I'm a healer. I want to heal everybody. You know, if there's somebody that's getting like treated wrong, I want to stand up for them. And if it's you, so there's nothing wrong with doing that, but just figure out what's the most effective way of doing it. For me, the most effective way was, "Rawr, this is wrong. You should listen. This is not right. How do you guys not know that this is not the right thing to do? Like, this is wrong, okay?" But again, that's not the right way to do it all the time. In certain situations, if it's life or death, yes. But in certain situations, no. There's a most effective way, and you guys have to figure out that most effective way. I'm just telling you guys, when it comes to being an empath and protecting your energy, you guys got to make sure that, you know, you don't allow a battle from work to come onto you and you're taking it home. And, you know, so for example, you know, there was an issue going on at work, and I had to, you know, I literally was getting to the point where I would drive to work and I knew that this person maybe didn't like me, this person didn't like me, all because, hey, I just stood up for somebody, or whatever the case may be. Whatever the case may be, I would take it home. I would call my family. I would call, you know, before I go to work, I would sit in the car and I would have this huge headache, because it was just that stress and anxiety knowing that you're about to go into a workplace that, A, you felt like no one liked you, or you couldn't trust anybody, you know, or B, you know, somebody's gonna scrub your charts or make you feel like you're not doing something right, or so whatever it may be, just protect your energy at all costs, okay? So, you know, set boundaries and protect your energy, period, because you have to. especially being a new nurse, when it comes to, I'll give you an example with setting boundaries. Just say, hypothetically, you know, you're the new nurse on the floor and you feel like you're getting slammed with all the patients, right? You're out of orientation, but you're getting slammed with all the patients, or you're getting the, I'm not gonna curse, but the C. diff patient, or you're getting the C. diff patients all the time, right? Every time you couldn't work, you're getting something. You have to stand up for yourself, like, look, I'm not gonna take this. Like, I get this type of patient every time I come to work. You, like, something has to happen. If they don't listen, take it up the chain. Again, I have no problem advocating for myself. It's just how I talk and how I, you know, and sometimes it doesn't matter, like, you know, how you say things. Some people will still interpret it the way they want to interpret it. You know, some people have their preconceived biases. You know, you can say things in the most sweetest way and people will still, but however, you know, I can say, you know, it's never right to just put the fault on other people. You know, I can say this is my 10 lessons that I could have probably said things differently. However, I do not regret for ever standing up for myself. You know, when you're a new nurse, you're gonna get tested left and right, whether it's by the doctors, whether it's by, you know, physical therapy, where is it by your own nurses, so like the techs, whoever, you're gonna get tested. So just advocate for yourself, set boundaries, be professional about it, try your best if you can to be professional, but just set boundaries and protect your energy. Those are 2, we're gonna keep going, okay. Oh, well, advocating. Number 3, always advocate for your what? Your patient. Always advocate for your patient. I think my calling may have been to be a patient advocate. I don't know, because I'm gonna tell y'all right now, if any one of y'all was my patient, you're gonna get taken care of. I don't care if I have to jump through hell and high water, you're gonna get taken care of. What you need, I will at least try to find out what you need and figure it out. So, always advocate for your patients. Sorry, y'all, I just get really, because I know for me, that's why I became a nurse, like to help heal people. And when you are a nurse, you're that patient's like voice in some sense. Like they have their own voice because every patient is a part of the healthcare team, because it's their healthcare team, so they have a voice. And I make sure I tell my patients that all the time. If you don't like something, speak up. If you don't feel comfortable, let me know. I'll speak up. I'll take the heat for you, because that's my job. So always advocate for your patients, meaning standing up for yourself. I'm sorry, standing up for your patients first, and then standing up for yourself against whomever is in that interdisciplinary team. Advocating also, you know, not only just means speaking up for your patients, but it also means like researching different, you know, avenues for their healthcare. You know, maybe if you have a patient that, you know, doesn't want what the provider is saying that they need, and you're like, well, let me try to, before I bring the problem to the doctor, let me at least try to research a different evidence-based, you know, practice article or study, and just see if I can throw it to the doctor. Because one thing about me, if I bring somebody a problem, I at least want to have a solution. If I don't have a solution, I'm sorry. You know, that just means I either A, didn't have time because I was super busy, or B, there was no solution. So, but for me, I just feel like, you know, advocating means speaking up for them, and also researching different avenues for their treatment. So number 4, please, you guys, take care of your mental health. I know resiliency was something that was really big. Like we had a stand down resiliency day, and I had a video and I did not post it because it shared a lot of personal things, but I do plan on posting it because I want you guys to not only just know my career success, but also know the trials and tribulations that I had to get to this level, because everything wasn't all sweet. I'm just gonna say that I had to push through. So resiliency was very important. I know we had a lot of suicides in the military, also in military, and also in the Air Force. The numbers show that there were more people, military members, committing suicide than dying in war. So that's why I say number 4 is take care of your mental health. Seek therapy if you need it. Military One Source has a lot, and they're not sponsoring this, but as a military member, you have a lot of resources that can help you. So Military One Source is one for seeking counseling, therapy. So for example, when I started off this video, I told you guys that this was a very mentally challenging year for me. You know, being in a new place, being a brand new officer and a brand new nurse, like it was so much adjusting. And then on top of that, being at a place that did not have a lot of patients, so there was a lot of that bred a lot of negativity. and I just wasn't used to it. And I tried my best to adjust. I tried my best to try to bring in positivity and morale. And I just felt like I was getting resistance from every different direction. You know, I was just trying, and it just didn't work. So I hit like a really tough time in my life, like at the end of the year, where I actually had to go seek counseling. Like I was, you know, there's nothing wrong with seeing counseling sometimes, or seeing a counselor. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to get unbiased, you know, insight, or just to make sure, you know, just get yourself together. There's nothing wrong with a counselor. That's why I'm so big on mental health. Like, I don't like the stigma, so leave the stigma off of this page, because that's not the place for it. But I had to, because if I'm coming to work with headaches, anxiety, you know, feeling like every time I did something, for example, nurse on nurse bullying is real, right? You can have one nurse that's probably been there for a while and a new nurse. And if this one nurse is like, if you have a nurse that's like scrubbing your charts, or like looking through your notes and finding things and reporting it to leadership, and get like, that stuff is real, and it can really cause like a lot of stress and anxiety, especially for a new nurse. This is the time of like, we're like the most fragile ever, because we know our, okay, we know it because we graduated, and some of us graduated with honor. It doesn't matter. We graduated, we passed the boards, we know our stuff, but we are so afraid of killing people and doing everything right, on top of dealing with like high school drama and pettiness. It was just a lot. It was just a lot. And like I said, it's not every day I didn't have a patient. Don't get me wrong. When you're in orientation, you will probably get all the patients, but there was some, you know, yeah, I had maybe like one patient a day or two patients a day, but it wasn't steady, like, you know, 4 or 5 patients like what you would normally see at a med center. So being bored, the type of work environment I was in, on top of just like, you know, just dealing with extra stress, and it was just a lot. So I had to definitely seek out some type of mental health like professional, because I can't take care of my patient if I can't take care of myself. You know, I would get to the point sometimes when I would, last year at the end of, it was around the holidays too, around last year, I would get to the point where I'm just like, I know I'm gonna come in here and there's gonna be some type of drama, or somebody's not gonna talk to me. So I just started to sit by myself, right? I was just like, I'm just gonna isolate myself. If I can't be with them, they think I'm gonna get, or whatever. I just literally isolated myself, because that was the best thing for me to do at the time, because I felt like I couldn't trust anybody. Like, it was just a hard time for me, you guys. So I had to seek some type of counseling, because if not, like I said, I come to work, I'm having headaches, I'm angry just immediately. My energy was just drained the minute I got in there. And then I have a patient. So how can I go smiling at my patient, like, hey ma'am, sir, I'm blah, 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 I'm here to help you, I'm your nurse. And I'm so angry, and all the stuff that's going on, like I couldn't block it. So it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Because guess what? I'm still here. I'm still sitting here making a video for you guys. So take care of your mental health, and also your physical and spiritual health as well. One thing that I can say that I wish I would have had more, or did more of, was taking care of my spiritual health. Because the moment, I would say around December, January, February, the moment I realized that God had all of this in his power and his control, and he was always on my side fighting the battles for me, when I thought last year I was fighting these battles by myself. Like, I was like swinging by myself, and God was like, watch, you know, like, I got it, you relax. So when I realized that, that's why I'm sitting in front of you guys right now, because I had to get back into my spiritual my spiritual help and help. And I had to realize, like, it's okay, God got this, you know? So let's move. Okay, so we're gonna move into number 5. Don't let a toxic work environment turn you toxic, period. Okay, so that can be a negative work environment, that could be a bad work environment. Whatever type of work environment you have, don't turn into that. I realized, like, you know, when I first got to this base, like I said, I was like, yeah, morale, and let's do things together, like let's buy food for each other, and blah blah blah. That didn't happen. So that little dream and bubble I had of, like, you know, going somewhere where it was like, oh, like I was a med tech on a med surg floor, where we kind of did that for the most part, and then I'm a nurse on a med surg floor at a different base, and it was like, oh, they don't do that at all. So let me try to bring it. But again, So I'm starting to notice that my morale and my energy just started going like this. So then I had somebody tell me, like, don't let a toxic work environment cause you to be toxic. Like, don't do that. Don't do that at all. I'm like, I didn't realize I was. So like, yeah, you're sitting by yourself. I haven't seen you smile in like 2-3 months. Like, what's going on there? And y'all, if anybody knows me, y'all know I'm always smiling. Like, it's like, gosh, did she ever stop smiling? Sometimes, but for the most part, I'm smiling. So, and for 2 to 3 months, I was just like, I was broken down. Like, I couldn't take it. I was just like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I just remember saying I'm done. So, and I would end up, I wouldn't say I turned toxic. I would say I turned negative. Very negative, very just, I didn't see a light at the end of this tunnel of getting out of this place that I didn't want to be in anymore. So my thing is, try to change it, but remember, you cannot change it alone. I had a person tell me this, and I think, yeah, this person told me, you know, get buy-in, right? Find a group of people that want to do the same thing you want to do. So if you want to turn something positive, find a group of positive people that want to turn it positive and build a positive team to spread positivity. Where I was trying to do it alone, and I realized that was draining me so bad that I couldn't do it alone. So then we started getting, like, you know, some new people in. I'm like, oh, perfect. I see that they have that same energy that I had 11 months ago, but let's see if we can try to bring it back, even though I'm torn and I'm broken down. So, you know, build a team. So that's my biggest advice. You know, if you go into a work environment where you feel like this is not Air Force. Like, I know everybody call us like soft and blah, 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 but, or they call us like, and I'll tell people like, I expect us to be like a family, you know, like, and there was some people say, well, that's not your family. No, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, your family is what you make it, okay? So when I was in the military, when I was enlisted, if I needed something or whatever, I can just pick up the phone and call one of my coworkers, and it was a family. Because sometimes when you're by yourself, you're a single airman, and you're just alone, sometimes you need somebody to pick up the phone and just say, hey, I need a favor, I need something. That's a family. And I feel like if you're spending 12 hours with a person or with people, at least 1 or 2 of those people can be family, like can be work family or however. Just know that if we're gonna proclaim to never leave an airman behind, so what is, to me, that's like always being there for them. Like, granted, you know, if a person is toxic or not healthy for you, then yeah, you don't have to tolerate abuse or anything. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, if there was a military person, and if there's an Air Force person that needed something, like, call me. Like, granted, sometimes I am busy, sometimes I'm asleep, sometimes I just need my own space. But if it's dire, you bet your silver dollar, is that how you said? You bet your silver dollar that I will be there, and I will, or help you in some type of way if I can't be there. That's a family, and that's the extent that I was talking about. And when I expected that and I didn't get it, I was like, oh God, this sucks. So I tried to help, but yeah. But you know, you'll run into some positive people, and you know, and through that all, I still try to mentor people and help people get into NECP, help the techs, help whomever. And you know, it took one person to tell me, I'm not gonna mention any names, I try not to mention names in here unless they give me that permission, but it took one person to tell me. I was sitting by myself one day, per usual, and even when I tried to sit with other people, it just didn't feel right. So I just went back. And so it took a person who worked with me to tell me, like, hey, you know, I told my leadership that you have been a great mentor to me since I've been here. And I was like taken back, because I was like, I feel like I have failed you. I have failed you all, because I haven't been being Bianca and mentoring and, you know, helping you get into NECP and helping people get better. I felt like I was so drained that I didn't do that. But it took one person to tell me, hey, you're being a little hard on yourself, because you are, you know. So, you know, it takes positive people that can help turn an environment around. And sometimes if you can't do it by yourself, sometimes you can just be that fire starter, and boom, it can get changed whether you see it or not. And my goal was to try to change something for the next group of people that's going to come here, because if it don't change while I'm here, it had to change for the next generation, and that's just, or the next cohort that's coming. So that was that. So that was 5. Don't let your work environment turn you toxic. Number 6, don't expect things to be what you are used to, which we've been already kind of hitting on that. You know, I'm going to make a video, you guys, about being an an officer versus being enlisted in the year that I've been in. You know, but basically, you know, when it comes to morale, I remember having like, I remember being a technician, and I remember my leadership, my flight commander would tell me, oh, Airman Wade, you need to go and, you know, go to this potluck and do this. I'm like, sir, I don't want to be around people. I'm good. I was a 23-year-old airman. I was like, you know, I'm good. I don't want to do all that. But he instilled in me that even if you don't care for a person, you don't care for their personality, you still need to go and support their, you need to go and support their going away or their baby shower, whatever, you know, because now you know, because you can get to a base where you don't have that. And it's so funny how quickly life can change, because 7 years ago I had that, and then, you know, I fast forward now to people don't, like on my, you know, unit, they didn't do stuff like that all the time, like or ever. Like there was no going aways. It was, I mean, if there were, it wasn't like what I was used to. So let's just say that. All right, number 7, be flexible and always seek out some type of training, different training. So like I said, my hospital, sometimes we didn't have patients, sometimes we had patients, and you can get like 1 patient a day or whatever. So there was opportunities for me to go to a bigger hospital. I had 2 opportunities. I went to a Navy base, and I went to the VA hospital, and I worked with the civilian nurses there who were seeing 4 to 5 patients, admits, transfers. So that just actually recently just stopped. So I was doing that from, I want to say January to March or February to March. But prior, like 2019, I was able to go to a Navy hospital where those nurses, active duty Navy nurses and corpsmen, y'all are awesome, by the way, woo, where they're seeing 4 to 5 patients or 4 patients or however, and they're busy. So, and I'm the type of person, like, one thing about me, I'm gonna work, and I want to work. So those 2 opportunities were like amazing for me, and I did not want them to end. However, due to, you know, manning and missions and stuff, you know, I had to get pulled back from each training. However, I enjoyed it. I finally felt like, oh, this is great. I finally get to, you know, do this. Like, I want to feel overwhelmed, and I want to go home tired, and I want to go home, you know, like, ooh, I don't know if I forgot, you know, I want to feel like that. Like, I want to feel like I did something. So those opportunities were amazing. Also, like, I've been helping in the ED. We help, sometimes we float the PACU or labor delivery, but I have been in the ED. I did a whole month in January. So yeah, January, and I went to the VA in February, and that was amazing. I still to this day will go down if they need me. You know, I don't like to be bored. So if anything about me, if there's another unit, for example, the ED is always busy, they're gonna need help, I'll go right here. Woo, I'll go right here. If no one else wants to go, I'll go. And they know that. And so, you know, be flexible and seek out your own training. You know, if you don't want the training, then don't go. But I'll take it, because I want to make sure I'm learning as much as I can, because these are still my baby years. Like, as a nurse, I want to make sure I'm learning as much as I can. So do that. Number 8, build your own happiness. So I had a coworker tell me, you know, sometimes if you don't get what you want right now, like at this work environment, go to another one. I'm like, off-duty employment. I will make a video about my off-duty employment as well, and like the process of how y'all do that, because it may differ for different bases. But I started to work at a psych facility because I wanted to get experience with mental health. I love mental health, and I wanted to see if that's the route I wanted to go next. So I enjoyed, you know, I was active duty, but I was a civilian nurse working part-time, you know, and I loved having, you know, okay, so I come from this environment that wasn't really my favorite. Then I go, and then I get to dibble and dabble in the civilian sector where I was like, I actually liked it. Like, it was like a breath of fresh air. So create your own happiness. Go where you are celebrated and not where you are tolerated. So that means getting another job, being a fitness instructor. You don't have to stay Okay, well, sometimes in the military you do have to stay there, but you have options. You can go, you can try to request a PTA, or you can try to, you know, go get an off-duty employment. And that actually was a really good idea for me, because I was able to meet other nurses and meet other people and techs and whomever, and just embrace them as they embrace me. So build your own happiness, okay? Number 9, we're almost done. I would say this is probably number 1 of the list, but this is number 9. You are wearing 2 hats when you are a nurse and an officer, okay? 2 hats, 1 time. So not only are you, and I'm gonna do a whole video on this, don't you guys worry, but just know, just a little snippet. Not only are you trying to save patients, learn not to kill a patient, learn your job on top of keeping up with, you know, EVPs and all this stuff, and you have to be an officer too, have officership. You got to know about OPRs and how to write bullets and all this stuff, and how to, like, it's just, I'm not even gonna get into that because I can talk about that all night. 2 hats, you guys, 2 hats at 1 time. 2 hats, 1 time. That's what you are. So after NECP, after NTP, you're wearing 2 hats at 1 time, okay? Just know that. My biggest lesson from this past year was that I didn't know how to juggle 2 hats. I knew nothing about, I'm not gonna say I knew nothing about being an officer, because you go through COT, it's 8 weeks or 5.5 weeks. I think it's 8 now, but I went through 5.5 weeks. You know, I know about being in the military, I know about being enlisted, but when you're a brand new officer, it's different. It's not what, you know, just wearing the bars and no, you know, because you can run into a situation where you feel like you're advocating for your patient as a nurse, but then this person, you know, you're getting orders from a person that outranks you, and you're like, this doesn't, you know, as the primary care provider for this patient and being in that, you know, being that patient's advocate, this is not what I think is best. But rank-wise says this is what's best. I still trying to figure that out. But nonetheless, do what's safe, do what's smart. Advocate for yourself, advocate for your patient. Now granted, if you run into that situation, I would try to reach out to someone, you know, maybe someone that you trust, like a mentor that's maybe a higher rank, that's been there, done that. And, you know, before you can even do that, if you don't get the opportunity to reach out to somebody, you know, just handle it with poise and professionalism. That's the only thing I can say. Again, take what I went through as your ticket to not make the same mistakes that I did, okay? Because, yeah, when it comes to advocating for my patients and feeling like, you know, having the other stress and anxiety of working in that work environment, and you having this and this, sometimes that poise and professionalism, I'm not gonna say it goes out the window all the time, but it slips through the cracks. So, you know, just take what I'm saying and use it wisely, okay, you guys? Nobody's perfect, we all make mistakes, and this is why we're here. Number 10, okay, so this is probably one of the most important ones, but I had to wrap it up with this last one. Celebrate yourself, okay? Celebrate your victories, even if no one sees them. The reason you became a nurse, I hope, just saying, let me just speak for myself. The reason why I became a nurse is to take care of people, to heal people, to advocate for people, to be, you know, just be a nurse, like, be a nurse. And it's not to get the awards, to do this and be recognized all the time. No, because if you live your life off of, and that's one thing I'm gonna talk about in my enlisted to officer video, you know, I was so, don't get me wrong, I worked hard for my awards. You guys can see the hard work I did in my videos, but I had great leaders that put me up for awards and like advocated for me. So I don't want to get too much into that video, but nonetheless, when you're a new nurse and you're not getting those awards and you don't feel like you're being recognized, listen to your patients. Take time to sit in their rooms and talk to them. Take time to, and because you genuinely want to, because patients can seek out, or yeah, they can recognize fake. I think so. I think I'm just not good at being fake, so I think they can recognize it if you really don't want to be there, or if you do. Take time, and just because you didn't get the Daisy Award or you didn't get Airman of the Year or CGO of the Year, doesn't mean you're not a good nurse. So celebrate your little victories. When you get those little patient satisfaction cards and you see your name on there, that is awesome. Like, celebrate that. Even if you gave this person ice water, you took time out of your day to help this person. And if you don't see your name on there, celebrate yourself. A, he didn't kill anybody. B, you did a damn good job doing your job. As long as you know you can go home and you did a good job, you did a good job. And I wish I did more of celebrating myself last year than beating myself up, letting other people's opinions of me or, you know, get in my head. When I had patients that were telling me like, I wish I could take you home. Like, I wish you were my nurse every day. Celebrate those moments, because that's why we do it. We don't do it for the awards. We do it because we want to help. And if you do it for the awards and you don't get the awards, then when you don't get it, it's going to be hard for you. So work will speak for yourself. You know, I've had patients reach out after I've taken care of them. Sometimes you can make connections with people and it's forever lasting. You don't know how you're going to impact somebody's life by just holding their hand or just sitting down and taking a second to talk to them, especially if you don't have a lot of patience. Take a second. You know, your computer will be there. Just take a second. If you have a lot of patients, I'm sure your patients understand. But this just that one little one. I worked at the VA, you know, you getting pulled left and right, you know, Portsmouth left and right. But that one little second that you took to go get them some ice water or to give their significant other a blanket because they're cold, or you went and you search for a pillow that are hard to find nowadays, those little things matter. Like, those little things matter. So just don't think just because you don't get the awards and you don't feel like you're getting recognized by the people you're supposed to get recognized from, and that's the patients. So you guys, I really hope this helped you. I will be making, I have about 7 videos. I wrote down topics that I want to do for you guys. Yeah. Okay, and in addition to celebrating yourself, I have a friend that told me, I remember talking to her and I was like, I just feel like I sucked as an officer, but I feel like I was an okay nurse. And she said, what do you mean you sucked as an officer? She's like, you come and you speak to my clinic. You know, this is a person that's, you know, works in a completely, you know, different, you know, a part of the this is a person that doesn't even work like on my unit, but comes up to like help out with, like, you know, with their job, you know, whether it's pharmacy or respiratory therapy or whatever the case may be. This is them. And like I said, I try not to put too many like I try not to put too many identifiers out there unless I got their permission. So just say this person worked in pharmacy or wherever, and they're like, what do you mean you sucked as a nurse? Like, you're one of the best officers I know. Like, I look up to you. Like, you come and you speak to our clinic, and you don't have to do that. You come and you say hey to everybody and you introduce. She said they know you. Like, nobody else does that. And that made me feel good. And that just shows that I don't celebrate myself as much as I didn't celebrate, excuse me. That just showed I didn't celebrate myself as much as I needed to, because I actually had people that saw it, but I didn't. I was like, no, I just felt like as a nurse, I feel like I did okay. I think I did good. But as an officer, I don't feel like I did that good. Like, I don't feel like I did good at all at this officership. She's like, what are you talking about? And so celebrate yourself. And even if you don't think people see it, people see it. Okay, you guys, like, people see it, especially when it's coming from a genuine place. People see it. So I want to wrap this video up with some video topics that I will probably do. Don't know when. Go easy on me, you guys. You guys just let me know, like, if you think these are good ideas or not, but I still want to just give y'all these, you know, hopefully these videos will help answer questions that you guys have. So one video would be Air Force officer versus enlisted life. Wearing like the 2 hats that I discussed, because I'm definitely going to make that one. Number 2 is my off-duty employment experience. I want to make a video about that as a nurse. Combating toxic work environment or workplaces, your skills and tips of how to do that. Because I think that's very important. I don't think a lot of people talk about it. I don't know if it's because of fear of reprisal or fear of being looked at as like weak, or I don't know why, but I'm going to talk about it, because if I can help someone, that's what I'm here for. So combating a toxic work environment or a negative work environment. Another video topic could be career my next career milestone, because I have been thinking about different things that I want to do next. You guys know I can't sit still for too long, but I don't want to rush into it. So I'm just kind of like weighing out my options right now, and you know, we'll see. Also, deployment life. So that may be coming up, we'll see. And also, last but not least, which probably will be one of my next videos, military nursing during COVID-19. I know that is a huge topic right now, and I don't want to oversaturate it, but I want you guys to know that your girl is part of the COVID-19 clinic team tent thing. So I will definitely be posting a video about that. If I can get some pictures of me, like, you know, if you follow my Instagram, sometimes you will see me, you know, posting a picture in my mask or whatever, but I'm out there as well. And I do want to post a video, just like, you know, giving my experience with dealing with all of this, and we'll go from there. So if you guys have any more ideas of videos, just drop it. Okay, so I appreciate all of you for sticking with me. I know it has been a long year waiting for me to get these videos out, or it has been a long year for me to get this 1 year review. But now you guys know why. You know my story. You know what I've been going through. Please forgive me. This is a better year. This is a better year, so I should have more time to do this stuff and be positive. So you guys keep being successful. If you need me, I am here. Okay. Make sure you guys subscribe, and if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Miss B Wade, MSBEEWADE. That's how you found me. I'm on there a lot. So yes, be blessed. Okay, you guys have a good day.